Welcome back this evening. Find a comfortable place to rest for a while, somewhere your mind can settle and your breathing can slow itself down. Tonight, we're wandering into a quiet place, one that feels half forgotten but still familiar in some way. A soft-lit corner of the world where thoughts drift like dust in a beam of light, and where the night moves at its own pace. Let your body go still, let your eyes grow heavy, and I'll take you with me as I step through the doors of a library that didn't feel like sleeping. I pushed open the library doors and felt the weight of quiet spill out toward me, the kind of quiet that has texture to it, like soft fabric. The place wasn't supposed to be open this late, but the lights inside glowed anyway, warm and steady, as if they didn't know how to turn themselves off. I stepped in and let the door ease shut behind me, the latch clicking softly in the hush of the room. Rows of shelves stretched out in long parallel lines, their ends fading into a cozy dimness, and I had the strange feeling that the books were listening, waiting to see what I would do. The air smelled faintly of old paper and wood polish, the kind of scent that makes your mind quiet down without asking it to. I walked in a little deeper, letting my fingers skim the tops of a few chairs arranged neatly around low tables. It felt like I had arrived just after the last reader had left, but before the room realized it was alone. A clock on the far wall ticked softly, though its hands didn't seem to move. I tilted my head at it for a moment, waiting for the second hand to shift even a little. Nothing. It just sat there, frozen mid-thought. I continued on between the shelves, noticing how every aisle was lit just enough to see the spines of the books, even though no lamps were nearby. It felt like the shelves were making their own glow, something soft and polite. And somewhere high overhead, an owl shifted gently on a rafter beam, barely more than a shadow, keeping watch the way only night creatures do. I kept moving, letting the quiet guide me deeper into the stacks. I wandered toward a long aisle near the center of the room, where the shelves stood a little taller and the air felt cooler, like the books were holding their breath. The spines here were older, wrapped in deep greens and faded reds, the gold lettering rubbed down by years of curious hands. I reached out and touched one gently, feeling the slight texture of the worn fabric beneath my fingers. It hummed with a kind of quiet patience, like it had all the time in the world and didn't mind lending a little of it to me. I let my hand drop and continued on, my footsteps soft against the carpeted floor. A soft rustling came from one of the higher shelves, and I looked up to see paper shifting, as if a breeze had found its way inside, even though the air felt still. The pages settled again with a small sigh, almost grateful to be still. I smiled without thinking about it, then kept moving toward a reading nook tucked into a corner beneath a low archway. A single lamp glowed above the chair, even though it wasn't plugged into anything. I looked behind it, checked the floor, checked the side table. No cord. Just light that had decided to exist for its own reasons. I sat down in the chair for a moment, letting the cushions sink beneath me. The fabric smelled faintly of old perfume, or maybe flowers pressed inside books long ago. On the table next to me sat a single open book, its pages flat and undisturbed. The words looked handwritten, each letter neat and looping, though the ink seemed to shift in color if I looked at it too long. I tried reading the first line, but the letters rearranged themselves just as I caught their meaning, slipping into some other order before I could hold on to them. After a few seconds, the book closed itself gently, like it was saying that tonight wasn't the night for reading. I stood up again, gave the chair a soft pat, and walked back out into the aisle. Somewhere above me, I heard the faint flutter of wings, then silence again. I continued on, following the warm glow deeper into the library. I moved through another archway and stepped into a wider room, one filled with long wooden tables arranged in careful rows. The chairs were all tucked in neatly, as if the people who had been sitting there moments before had vanished without disturbing a single thing. The overhead lights glowed with that same soft, steady warmth, even though none of them buzzed or flickered the way lights sometimes do in older buildings. It felt like the entire place had decided that humming or buzzing would be too loud for this hour. I walked along the nearest table, noticing little details scattered across its surface. A bookmark left beside an empty teacup. A pencil with the tip worn down almost flat. A folded scrap of paper with something written on it in tiny handwriting, too small to read without picking it up. I reached for it, but the paper rustled and slid a few inches away, like it was politely avoiding my hand. I let out a small breath of a laugh, then left it alone, figuring it had earned the right to keep its secrets. I continued weaving between the tables, feeling the room ease into me the way warm air fills an empty space. Near the back wall stood a tall card catalog, its tiny drawers arranged in perfect grids like a quiet puzzle. Each drawer had a small brass label, though the words on them blurred slightly if I didn't look directly at them. It reminded me of trying to remember the details of a dream after waking up. The harder I tried to pin them down, the more they drifted away. Still, I opened one drawer out of curiosity. Inside were dozens of index cards, neatly organized, but the handwriting on each one shifted as I looked at it, as if rewriting itself in real time. I closed the drawer gently, not wanting to interrupt whatever process it was working through. Behind me, one of the chairs scooted itself back a few inches with a soft scrape, like it was adjusting itself to get comfortable. I turned, gave it a small nod, and kept moving through the room. At the far end, I found a tall window looking out into the night. The glass was cold when I touched it, and outside I could see nothing but a deep, velvety darkness that felt thick enough to lean against. A faint reflection of the room rippled across the window's surface. Shelves, tables, chairs, and me, softened by the glow behind me. Then, just for a moment, I thought I saw a small owl perched on the sill outside, watching me through the glass. But when I blinked, the reflection shifted and the owl was gone again, leaving only the soft dark beyond the window. I took a slow breath, feeling the quiet settle deeper into my chest, and stepped back from the glass. I left the window behind and followed a narrow hallway that curved slightly, almost as if it had been drawn by someone who didn't believe in straight lines. The walls here were lined with framed illustrations, soft pencil drawings, faded watercolors, things that looked like they'd been taken from old storybooks. I paused at one of them, a sketch of a staircase spiraling up into a cloud. The longer I looked at it, the more I felt the steps shifting a little, adjusting their angle like they were deciding whether to go somewhere else entirely. I moved on before I could find out. The next frame held a simple drawing of a lantern glowing softly against a blank background. The glow in the picture seemed to brighten as I walked past, as though greeting me in its own quiet kept my pace slow, letting the images drift by like small dreams pinned to the wall. Every few steps, I heard a faint flutter above me, and I wondered if the owl from earlier had followed me here, keeping to the beams where the shadows stayed thick. It was comforting in a way, knowing something was awake with me. The hallway opened into a round room I hadn't seen on any map or directory. Shelves curved along the walls in a perfect circle, filled with books bound in deep blues, soft grays, and muted greens. A single table sat in the center of the room, and on it rested a globe unlike any I'd ever seen. It didn't show continents or oceans. Instead, it held swirling patterns of light and dark, like a slowly drifting fog trapped inside glass. I reached out and gave it a small tap with my fingertip. The swirling patterns responded, shifting into new shapes that flowed across its surface like moving ink. One pattern almost looked like an owl in mid-flight, wings spread wide across an unseen sky. But it drifted away again before I could be sure. I took a slow breath and stepped back, feeling the quiet deepen around me. A tall ladder rested against one of the shelves, its wood smoothed by time and use. Even though I hadn't touched it, the ladder began to climb itself upward, one rung at a time, as if guided by invisible hands. It stopped near the top shelf and waited there patiently, like it expected me to follow. But instead, I placed my hand on the lowest rung and gave it a small pat, letting it know I appreciated the gesture, even if I wasn't going up tonight. The ladder slid back down on its own, settling quietly against the shelf again. Somewhere above, the owl hooted once, a small sound that echoed softly in the circular room. It made the space feel even more connected, like every piece of it was awake and aware in its own gentle way. I stepped out of the circular room and followed another narrow passageway that sloped gently downward, leading me toward a part of the library that felt older than the rest. The air grew cooler, and the lights dimmed to a soft amber, as though the building wanted me to whisper, even though I was already speaking in the quietest version of myself. I reached the bottom of the slope and found a small reading room tucked beneath the larger floors above. A few plush chairs sat arranged in a half circle, all facing a single grand fireplace that glowed without producing any heat. The flames inside moved slowly, like they were dreaming or remembering fire rather than burning. I took a seat and watched them flicker, each movement deliberate and unhurried. Every time the flames shifted, faint shapes would appear in them, outlines of trees, coastlines, feathers drifting upward, all disappearing before they fully formed. It felt like the fire was telling its own stories, too soft and incomplete for words. I let my mind wander with it, drifting from one half-formed image to another. After a while, I stood again and walked to a nearby shelf that held only a handful of books. One of them leaned slightly forward, as if inviting me to take it. The cover was blank, and the pages inside were empty except for a small illustration on the very first page, a tiny owl perched on the edge of a lamp. The drawing seemed almost familiar, though I couldn't place why. As I watched, the owl in the picture blinked once, the ink of its eye shifting just a little before settling back into stillness. I closed the book gently and returned it to the shelf. Some stories, I figured, were meant to stay quiet. I walked back up the sloping hallway toward the main floor. When I emerged again, the lights throughout the library felt softer, like they were growing tired. The clock on the far wall gave a single quiet click, as if finally remembering how to move its hands. Somewhere above me, the owl shifted one last time, its silhouette settling against a beam as if preparing to rest. I took one long look around the room, the shelves, the tables, the quiet glow that filled every space, and felt the peaceful weight of the night settle over me. Then I walked toward the door, letting the warmth of the place linger behind me like a soft memory. The library didn't try to keep me. But as I stepped outside, I had the feeling it would still be awake later, just in case someone else wandered in looking for a quiet place to rest. So here's where the story ends. As you lie there, letting the quiet settle around you, the night can take over from here. No more thoughts to sort through, no more steps to follow. Just the slow drift of your mind growing softer and lighter. If you're still awake, there's no need to hurry anything. Sleep arrives in its own way, in its own time. All you have to do is rest where you are and let the moment stretch out gently. Your breath will slow. Your thoughts will loosen one by one. And the world will stay quiet for you. Drift a little deeper now. The story is finished, but the dream can go on as long as you need.